Hi, everybody. Welcome to the episode of In the School Parking Lot. My name is Paul Everts. I'm your host. You can get me at my email address, and I wish you would. It's BAND, the number 2 together, bandtogether, Comcast.net. Also visit our website, which is conductingmylife.com. You'll see I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach for a company that I'm not representing here. And you also see I'm an author. Buy my book. I think you like it a lot. So in the school parking lot, what is it? It's about reading stories that are in the news about education. It's also working out of this book, Crimes of the Educators. I've been a teacher since 1989, still a teacher. Had my 36th first week of school, and I currently work at a charter school. Do not represent the charter school. I do not represent the charter school. I represent just little old me in my man cave. I'm glad you're here with me. All right, here we go. So let's go over it. This is episode 26. I posted it on August 31st, 2024. I am reading it, though, at 11:33 a.m. on the 10th of August, so we all know what's going on. This is from Washoe County School District. It races to fill 250 positions before school starts. It was updated Wednesday, July 17th. And the reason I selected this is because I am seeing stories across the nation, and they're all hidden now. But the stories of 100, 250, 1,000, just a lot of open positions in education. And I'll say public education, government education. That's why I picked the story. This school district has 250 positions it needed to fill. And that was as of July 17th. This is from Reno, Nevada. I hope they did fill them. Let's see what the article says. 26 days until back to school. 250 positions are open. They need to be filled. That's the current situation of the Washoe, W-A-S-H-O-E, Washoe County School District. According to the district's Chief Human Resources Officer, Doug Owen, the district is prioritizing hiring teachers to fill classrooms, but a number of positions in nutrition services, I guess that's cafeteria, and support staff remain vacant too. In an effort to hopefully recruit qualified workers, the district is hosting a number of hiring fairs over the next week and a half. The district is seeking teachers, special education staff, classroom aides, and assistants, and therapists ahead of August 12th. Well, I'm doing this on August 10th, so we'll see what happens on Monday, August 12th. I think they'll probably be okay. Owen said if the positions are not filled by the start of school, they will have to pull employees from other areas to ensure there is a qualified teacher in every classroom. At Wednesday's recruitment fair, educators emphasized the importance of recruiting quality educators. Well, oh, that's nice. Pine Middle School principal Anne Marie Red, with 2 Ds, said, quote, "Our students deserve and need the best educators possible to support them as they move through their schooling and graduate to serve our community," end of quote. Why do you think there are so many openings in education? Now, no one's going to say it's because people are leaving education. No one's going to say that because we're in denial. No one's going to admit that we're having an issue with public education because we're in denial. And unfortunately, they might not need to have this many educators, because I think we're going to have homeschools still do well. Private schools are still going to do well. If they continue to move to a socialist, Marxist education, I don't think parents are going to want to have it. I saw statistics, or at least something that said that this younger generation, like in their 20s and stuff, many of them are tired of where they're seeing this country go. So I don't know if they're going to have to worry about open positions, because they might even have to do cuts. Students have left. Students have left. All right, so there is that. It was a quick, simple story. One of the simpler ones, frankly. But again, I only chose it because we're seeing that job openings everywhere. All right, what chapter are we on? Chapter 21, Eugenics and the Creation of the Black Underclass. The right of the state to safeguard the character and integrity of the race or races is incontestable. Henry Fairfield Osborn, before the 1923 Second International Congress of Eugenics. The right of the state to safeguard the character and integrity of the race or races is incontestable, says Henry Fairfield Osborne before the 1923 Second International Congress of Eugenics, and just that alone gave me the creeps. Wow. Where do I start? Yeah, okay. Here we go. Teachers College, Cattell, or Cattell's, C-A-T-T-E-L-L apostrophe S, Cattell's, I'll say Cattell's. Star pupil was Edward L. Thorndike, who espoused the principles of eugenics and became America's leading educational psychologist. He devised a new theory of learning based on conditioning techniques used in animal training. His book, 1898, Animal Intelligence, laid the groundwork for the school of behaviorism. Both Cattell and Thorndike were active in applying the principles of eugenics to education. It just gives me the creeps. I didn't learn this in education classes back in 1985 and 86, 40 years ago. What is going on? Like Dewey, they held an organic view of society. Socialist John Dewey wrote in his famous My Pedagogic Creed, he wrote, quote, I believe that the individual who is to be educated is a social individual and that society is an organic union of individuals. Examinations are of use only so far as they test the child's fitness for social life and reveal the place in which he can be most service and where he can receive the most help. Inherent in Dewey's creed is the notion that individual human worth is determined by social usefulness, a concept taught today in such values clarification exercises as the lifeboat and the fallout shelter survival games. This was clearly the educational philosophy of a collectivist state, not a constitutional republic in which the purpose of government is to secure the God-given rights of individuals to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The purpose of education in a free society is to provide the individual with the basic intellectual skills needed to make his way in the world as a free adult, not to determine where he can be, quote, unquote, of most service. It was inevitable that those who believed in eugenics would see society in racial terms and impose racist ideas on American education. The veneer of science made racism respectable among the social radical progressives who were supposedly only interested in the future good of mankind. It just turns my stomach. Why were we not taught this? I don't remember learning this in Education 101. It was the philosophy of government that enabled Congress to pass prohibition, which made it illegal to drink alcoholic beverages, and we all know what a social disaster prohibition turned out to be. Likewise, in the 21st century, Mayor Bloomberg of New York believed that it is government's highest duty to determine what people should be allowed to eat. Sounds benign and sensible to a statist, but nothing in our Constitution gives government such powers to interfere with an individual's eating habits. Among the members of the Eugenics General Committee were Herbert Hoover, Gifford Pinchot, Robert M. Yerkes, and Edward L. Thorndike, who we just heard from, who was then chairman of the psychology department at Teachers College, Columbia, which there is still a Teachers College, Columbia, and I'm sure they've held on to some of these things. To Thorndike, blacks were inferior and had to be treated differently in education. Thorndike's colleagues were in agreement on this issue, for the eugenics-inspired tests always seemed to provide scientific proof that blacks were inferior to whites. Cattell's weekly publication, School and Society, often reported the results of these tests. They're sick. What is going on? John Dewey provided the educational philosophy and the dumbing down plan that justified the shift from intellectual training to socialization. Cattell's reaction time experiments in Wundt's, V-W-U-N-D-T-S, apostrophe S, I should say, Wundt's Leipzig laboratories provided the supposedly scientific basis for the change from phonics to look, say. He was also Francis Galton's prized disciple. Edmund Burke Huey, a pupil of G. Stanley Hall's, wrote the authoritative book advocating the change in reading instruction. This is 1908, The Psychology and Pedagogy of Reading. Thorndike provided the new stimulus response technique of conditioning as the new classroom methodology. His protege, Arthur Gates, actually edited the new primary readers of Macmillan. That's too much information there. These are the men whose utopian ideas have ruined American public education. They have led to the creation of millions of functional illiterates and nation of dummies. Unfortunately, the system cannot be returned to what it was before the progressives took control of it. Neither the public nor the politicians have the knowledge or the will needed to reform the system. Thus, it is up to parents to either homeschool their children or provide them with the kind of education they want in a private school. Charter schools are public schools, and to what degree they are free to create an academic curriculum that produces high literacy is, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, still questionable. Those who issue the charters have the power to determine the curriculum. Last part, because it's 11 minutes right now. Since the alphabet is the basis of our written word, to deliberately deprive a child of the knowledge and use of the alphabet is a crime. The key to the development of Western civilization is the alphabet, first used by the ancient Hebrews to record the word of God. Famous composer and conductor Leonard Bernstein, recalling his learning of Hebrew, told in an interview in 1989. Leonard Bernstein said, "In the Jewish tradition, the one gift that God gave to man in his travail and sursis, T-S-U-R-I-S, which means aggravating trouble, under the curse of having been expelled from the garden was something called the alphabet. And those 22 Hebrew letters are said to have been presented in fire. And that's why those letters, with their strokes and serifs, seem to be like flames. They burn. And you can also point to the Pentecostal manner of speaking in tongues with the flames coming down from heaven. So you could say that Christianity is Judaism tidied up a little bit. Though I, Leonard Bernstein, though I can't prove it, deep in my heart I know with every person is born with the love of learning, without exception." That's tough. And I apologize if that hit home hard. Again, this is the title of the chapter. This is the book. It's really hard. You know, after doing this for 35 years and seeing this book and just seeing another, I mean, you know, again, no one's perfect. And wow, it's tough to read. We have a Venmo account. If you'd like to support us, I appreciate it very much. It's rough. Next week, the chapter is the role of behavioral psychology in the Dewey Plan. Yeah. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next week, God bless and I love you. Let's go, education. You can do it. Let's get better.